Hello, welcome back to another episode of Analog Adventures. Today, we have another episode of Tested coming up. So, I was originally going to shoot this episode with Mason, but unfortunately, the day that we went to go shoot, the weather wasn't great and just a bunch of stuff happened. So, I ended up shooting this episode solo. So, I did pick this randomly from the hat, like we did in the previous episode of Tested. And the camera that came up with is this Canon SureShot Owl. It's 35 millimeter. It doesn't have an aperture rating, so I'm not sure if that just means it's just like they just didn't care to put it on there or something. But we're gonna go test out this camera, see if it works, and yeah, I'll give you my thoughts and review on this camera. If it's something that maybe you should consider picking up the next time you see one at a thrift shop or just anywhere. So let's go shoot some film.
You are in the middle of something hard.
I was too lazy while I was editing this video to actually use my proper camera, so we're just gonna shoot this video on the webcam. What are my thoughts on this camera? This Canon SureShot Owl. A little bit of some specs here. So, like we said, it mentioned it's a 35mm lens, which I'm very comfortable with because my main camera that I usually run and gun with is the Olympus Stylus Epic. The aperture I wasn't quite sure on, but I'm thinking it's something a bit wider, probably something closer to like f5.6 or maybe even up to 8. I know it's probably not a huge or like super wide aperture because they didn't even list anything about it. So but like an absolutely fantastic lens. Like I was really impressed with all the shots I got. I definitely feel like this is a camera worth finding, and in fact maybe I think they're going, like, even if you buy them on like Kijiji or something like that, they're not going for very much compared to like a Stylus Epic or compared to some other point and shoots, because a lot of the SureShot series, they were so popular and there were so many of the SureShots made, different versions, zooms, different names, but all of them had similar functions, similar lenses and stuff like that. But yeah, this is a fantastic little camera. Everything worked exactly how I wanted it to, with focusing, no issues with like anything being super overexposed. Everything worked really great. Of course, this differs depending on what type of camera you have, like what type of condition it's in. You might get a camera that's in poor condition. Thankfully mine's in pretty decent shape. So one thing I really liked, especially when it came to shooting the street photography, because I run into this sometimes with like the Stylus Epic or other cameras itself. Once you have the lens open on this dial here, you have all your settings for your flash, your auto, your timer, and your no flash. So you can just set it to no flash and keep it open, and then when you're ready to shoot, you just great, simple, and really effective for street photography. The other thing was too, and you probably even noticed it just there when I pressed the shutter there, is it's very quiet, especially when you're in an open space. It's super silent, unless you have the flash on by accident and the flash goes off while you're doing street photography. Maybe people would notice, but for the most part, it's like really, really quiet, which is super nice for when shooting. Another thing that I want to mention before we wrap up this video, and I forgot to mention this in most of my episodes of Tested, is the battery type of the camera itself. That might make a difference for you. So with the battery type for this is good old AA's, which is super nice. You can find them anywhere. You bring a couple extras with you in case you feel like you might run out, or if you're going on a travel. The Yashica from the last episode of Tested took AAA's, which is still really nice. However, the Konica Big Mini, I'm just kind of backtracking on the episodes. The Konica Big Mini takes a 123 battery. It's like CR123, which is like an actual photo battery. So they last longer, they last good, but they're about $10 each. And then the Canon AE1 that we tested out, that one uses a A445 something. It's a weird, really small, like photo shapes, like, or photo battery. So yeah, that was one thing I thought about this camera, was the accessibility of just the fact that the batteries can be found everywhere and you don't have to worry about a specific photo battery, although maybe AA's might not last as long compared to the photo batteries. Makes it a super great camera. So I think honestly, like out of all the cameras that we've shot so far in the Tested series, which is only 4 episodes counting this one, I'm really impressed with this little Canon Sure Shot. And I might have a hard time parting ways with it, but you know, we gotta get them tested, and we gotta sell them. We gotta make room for new cameras to come in, and yeah, so great little camera. I highly recommend finding one of these. Maybe I'll post a link in the bio for maybe some Kijiji ads, or just at least the main webpage for looking up maybe these Canon Sure Shots. Like I said, there's like Canon Sure Shot Owl, there's Canon Sure Shot like 80, Canon Sure Shot Zoom 80, like there's a bunch of different models, and for the most part they're all the same, fairly similar. One last thing I forgot to mention, and another part of or another feature that I enjoyed about the camera was the viewfinder. The viewfinder's really nice and big. There are ones that are bigger than this. I have used ones that are bigger, but viewfinder's really nice and big, so you're never really conscious. You're never really thinking like, oh, did I frame that properly, because maybe my eye was off center, or you're not even looking for that center of the viewfinder, because it's just, you point it up and it's super quick. So great little camera. I honestly might test out some films with this for episodes of this film to go shooting downtown. It's super silent, great lens, fantastic little camera, and they're cheaper than a lot of things going on eBay and Kijiji. So highly recommend. Thank you for watching this episode of Tested. I really appreciate you guys sticking around, most of you. I don't blame you if you don't want to stick around for the rambling, but I appreciate you guys all sticking around for the rambling. So we'll see you in the next episode.
Super cheesy fade away.